Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Walk and Talk. Today we are talking about property management fees. What are typical property management fees and what should you look out for when signing up with a property management company? So here's a breakdown of the typical property management fees. All right, you've got account setup fees for a typical property management company, and that's to set up your account and a whole bunch of fluff that some companies charge for. Shouldn't spend more than maybe $500 at the maximum for account setup fees for a property management company. Then you've got your tenant placement fees. That is for the property management company to fill that home with a brand new tenant. We call them residents. And that's going to run you a half month's rent to maybe a full month's rent for your tenant placement fees, and that's when a new resident is placed. Then you've got your monthly management fees. This is what the property management company is going to earn for doing all the hard work to collect your rent for you, to make sure the money gets to you and paid, the accounting, the customer service, coordinating any maintenance items for you. All of that gets wrapped up in your monthly management fees. And those will be on the very low side, you'll see about 8%. And then on the very high side, you'll see about 12%. And that's of the gross rents collected. Typically, it is when rent is collected. It is not just on the rent rate. It is only when the rent is collected. So that's something to watch out for. What else do you have? You have, let's talk about maintenance markups. All right, so this is what some companies charge to handle maintenance items. So when you have a plumbing bill that comes to you as an owner, very often one secret little trick that a lot of property management companies do is they don't actually send you the invoice. They send their own invoice to you, and it's marked up. It might be marked up maybe 10 to 15%. So that bill may have been $1,000, but it may be a 10% or a 15% markup on that by the time it gets to you. So that is what some companies charge, and I think there's another fee in there somewhere. I put it in the description. That's a pretty good overview. So what should you watch out for with all of these fees? Well, let me tell you where JWB stands with our fees. All right, we are a little bit higher on some, and we're a little bit lower on some of them as well, and we'll talk through why. All right, so there's three main fees that JWB has for property management, and appreciate all of you walking with me here. We've got Bill Oxley, we've got Tim Beavers, Trish is watching as well. I appreciate you guys being here. We're talking about what typical property management fees are and what you should watch out for if you're signing up with a property management company. So we just went all through them, and here's what to watch out for. So here's JWB's fees. We have three fees on the property management side. We have our tenant placement fee. That's equal to 1 month's rent. We have our management fee. That's at 10% of the gross rents collected. And then we have our lease renewal fees. Oh, that's the other one I forgot. All right. Typically, your lease renewal fees will be about $200 for each year that is renewed. And that's, of course, when you take an existing resident and you renew them for an additional year. So we're right in line there. $200 for each additional year renewed is what our fees are. You're not going to find account setup fees, and you're not going to find maintenance markups because I think account setup fees are ticky-tacky. I don't really understand that. And that goes against your bottom line. And then maintenance markups is the same thing. You know, our job is to lower your maintenance costs. And that's our goal. That's how we keep you happy. So it doesn't make sense for us to do a maintenance markup, which comes out of the bottom line for you and not what our goals would dictate for us. So no maintenance markups for JWB. But you may say, all right, you're high on the tenant placement fee, right? What I shared with you was half a month's rent to a month's rent is what you may find. And here's where I want to caution you. When you're looking at fees, especially for property management companies, don't just look at the costs. Look at the long-term value. The way to win in rental property investing is by keeping your resident in your home long-term. And the reason is because when your resident moves out, that's when typically the costs come in for you. You got costs to put the home back into rental shape in the form of maintenance costs. You've got vacancy costs, which means that you're still paying your mortgage and you may not have a resident in there for a month or maybe 2 months. So you've got to pay attention to the value provided by that property management company. Most property management companies only sign 1-year leases. JWB signs 2 and 3 year leases. Why do we do this? Well, if you sign 2 and 3 year leases, the chances of you having a resident stay longer are much higher, right? So that's why we do that. Now, our tenant placement fees are equal to 1 month's rent, and that's because we sign longer leases, and what you're gonna find is that the average duration of tenant stay is much longer because we do that. Our average tenant stays over 4 years at JWB. Compare this to a normal property management company. They sign 1-year leases, and you're gonna find that their average duration of tenant stay is nowhere near 4 years. So, come back to the fees thing here. Think about it. If you have a tenant that stays 4 years on average, you pay that tenant placement fee 1 time. If you only sign 1-year leases with another property management company, you're gonna end up paying more, right? If that tenant turns over 2, 3, or 4 times, you're gonna end up paying more. 4 times a half month's rent for tenant placement fees is a lot more than 1 time paying 1 month's rent. And that's in theory what we accomplish for owners. So I see we've got some folks walking with us here. We got Jerry watching, and Joe Hartsfield said, if you keep it rented and maintained, that's very reasonable fees. $500 for a 2 or 3 year tenant is worth every penny. There we go. Yeah, you guys jumping into Facebook Live? Nice. Gotta love Facebook Live. So there you go. Don't just look at the fee structure for the cost, look at the long-term value. And when you're hiring a property management company, ask yourself, what is that property management company going to do to keep my resident long-term? I'm talking 3 years, 4 years, 5 years for a long-term tenant stay. That's how you're gonna win in rental property investing. Roldan says, these walk and talk lessons are priceless. Hey buddy, I appreciate you saying that. You know, I'm having a lot of fun. I've been doing it every day. It's been going on 2-3 months now, and really enjoying it because I get to build a connection with you guys and appreciate all the positive support. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm gonna pack it in for the night and go on a date with my wife. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll take care of you. Talk to you soon. Bye.